So perhaps this is a story of value for our whole community. It's called The Great Escape. At some point in your life, see the movie Cool Hand Luke. Now what we've got here is a failure to communicate. Some men you just can't reach. So you get what we had here last week, which is the way he wants it. Well, he gets it. And I don't like it any more than you men. Last month, my son Atticus ran away. He flew the coop. The old Houdini act, and I mean it. The little man hatched a premeditated, complex plan to escape our home and flee for a better life. All 3 feet, 42 pounds of him, he vanished and sent a lightning bolt of worry and pride through the heart of our family. Do you remember 1 month ago when we had torrential downpour? There was wicked rain and melting snow, and the water accumulated so fast that parts of Route 44 were shut down. We saw all school emails about it. You remember? That was the night he ran away. That night, Aaron was upstairs getting ready for our next commitment. Atticus told me that he wanted to go into our living room alone to do some homework. I was playing with Finley and Aurora in our den when Aaron rushed down the stairs in a frenzy. She rightly and reasonably snapped at me, part question, part panic, part test. "Where's Atticus?" I could see the seriousness in Aaron's eyes. There's a look, that a mother has when things suddenly get real. I said, he's doing homework in the living room, isn't he? "No, he's not," Aaron said. "I just got a text from Emily Allen that he ran away." "Oh, is he okay?" I was confused, embarrassed, and a little scared. Somehow our tiny boy left the house in the cloak of night and made it all the way up to Emily Allen's house. Now, this may not seem far to you, but this is epic for him and us. His clothes were dark and camouflaged, and School Road is scary. Not just on this night, always. It's where cars drive too fast all day, every day. Not 30 miles per hour too fast in the neighborhood. 75 miles per hour too fast. Rattle the house kind of too fast. And this night, of all nights, the darkness was blurred by absurdly heavy rain that amplified the inability of drivers to see. So fright and fear of what could have been dominated our minds. Emily Allen called to recount the plot of his prison break. She explained, Atticus used homework in the living room as a ruse. He tiptoed upstairs where he had a backpack ready, 3 days of clothes, 2 granola bars, a bottle of water, and a toothbrush. He then snuck down the front set of stairs, slipped into the mudroom, waited for a car to drive by, which would make a lot of noise so he could crack open the front door undetected, then jumped onto his scooter and scooted up School Road to us. Aaron and I were speechless. Holy Lord, he pulled an Andy Dufresne from Shawshank Redemption? Do I need to check the pictures on his wall to see if he's chiseling to the outside? We could not help but think of our sweet, seemingly innocent son as El Chapo, digging tunnels all around campus. Were there tattoos of our house schematics on his back? We had to wonder. Emily continued, that's not all. He arrived here soaked and covered in mud because he fell along the way. When I asked him where his parents were, he said, home. I ran away. My dad is mean. He yelled at me to put my seatbelt on, and he didn't even say please. Emily went on to say it gets better. When Atticus told me this, covered in mud, soaked and in the rain, standing in our front doorway, I didn't realize that Cody was right behind me until she interrupted and said, wow, Atticus, you're so brave. You're so brave. There she stood, PJs after a bubble bath, the bright blonde hair, the big doe blue eyes, so pure and innocent and beautiful, a beam of light affirming every risk the boy took with one supportive statement, you're so brave. Emily hung up. Aaron and I decided not to immediately whip up to Abbott to rescue, retrieve, chastise, perhaps discipline our boy. We paused to give him some time to ruminate in the illusion of his success and stall so we could agree upon what our reaction as parents would be. An hour later, I arrived. I stood in serious silence. Sometimes I find silence is an effective way to communicate. We took the long walk under the Abbott archway, looping Harris. We sat in the car quietly, And when I chose to speak, I simply said, I am sorry I did not say please when I asked you to put your seatbelt on today. Please forgive me, Atticus. That said, I want you to know that you terrified your mother and me today. The fright in my voice was all the punishment he needed. Atticus burst into tears that made the rain we witnessed that day look like a light mist. And so I have analyzed this event so exhaustively that my interpretive judgments might scare you a lot more than the story itself. For now, I want to offer you 4 takeaways, 4 thoughts to consider in the context of your lives and the lives of others. First, I'm convinced that mistakes and accidents and errors happen when we are moving too fast, when we are too tired or too distracted. The seed of Atticus's idea to run away was planted because I was too firm with my tone of voice, and I wasn't listening enough when I wanted him to put on his seatbelt. Ultimately, my impatience inspired his plan, and if I were a little less in a rush, all may have been avoided. Second, when I was a boy at Millbrook, my 4-year advisor was Dr. T. Dr. T would say, you know what happens when an animal is backed into a corner, right? It will decide to fight or flight. It will either bite you or take off. I think about this all the time. It's primal biology. Disney and children's movies have capitalized on the concept of flight. Think Elsa, Moana, Belle, Ariel, Jasmine, Bambi, Dorothy, Simba. They all run away. Running away was Atticus's only power in this situation. Later, when he's a little older, he'll watch all the Marvel and classic superhero movies and learn about fighting. Marvel fights, Disney flights, which brings me back to the quotation I performed at the beginning of the story. Now, what we've got here is a failure to communicate. When we feel communication has failed or is not possible, and one party has more power than another, then we bite or run away. Always, please consider communication. Your personal Disney or Marvel plotline should be a last resort. Third, all the suspense and worry in this story is about School Road. It should not be highway speeds. Let's, and I mean me too, be highly alert and slow drivers on this campus. This summer, we will have 30 faculty children under the age of 12 here. Think about each and every one of them every time you or your parents operate a car at Millbrook. And finally, above all, I love Valentine's Day. We should always celebrate kindness, caring, and love. And I was overjoyed to see the Stang recommend The Notebook in an email last week. If I could distill all romantic comedy movies down to one idea, wouldn't it be facing a storm, running through the rain, ignoring consequence and accountability and logic just to hear from your beloved best friend with wide eyes say, wow, you're so brave. Is there really anything more meaningful to pursue in life? So, though completely out of line, the great escape that our little rule fowler, 3'0" feather boy pulled off just might make a parent melt with pride. Thanks for listening.